think we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Melissa Furlong, and I'm the Director of Admissions and Recruitment here at Cal Poly. I wish that we could host you here in person on our beautiful campus, but we are so excited to have this opportunity to bring a little bit of Cal Poly to each of you virtually. Before we get started and hand things off to our presenters, I have a few webinar housekeeping items to make note of. First off, all attendees are muted and cameras are off. You will only be able to see the presenter who is speaking. This webinar is being recorded. Feel free to watch any of today's sessions at Cal Poly Admissions YouTube channel. If you happen to have any questions, please use the question box icon at the bottom of your toolbar. We have an amazing team of Cal Poly representatives available to answer your questions. If we notice that a lot of the same questions keep popping up, we'll make sure to direct them to our presenters so that they can be answered live. It is my pleasure to introduce our first presenter from the College of Science and Math, Dean Wendt.
Hello and welcome, and thank you very much for joining us today. I truly hope that you and your loved ones are well and safe. My name is Dean Wendt. I'm the Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics. I use the pronouns he, him, his, and I'd like to start by acknowledging that though we're not together physically on campus right now, the land on which Cal Poly sits carries the heritage and culture of the indigenous people of San Luis Obispo, Yaqui Chuchu Yaktilhini Northern Chumash tribe. And we are grateful to be visitors on their land. During our hour together, I'm going to have a quick introduction here, just a handful of minutes, and then you'll hear briefly from each of our departments. After that, you'll have about a half an hour to ask questions, and we'll take questions during that time. Now, I really enjoy these opportunities to speak to prospective Cal Poly students because I was a prospective Cal Poly student once. And I know what you're wondering right now, which is which university is going to be the best place for you. I think the best reason to choose to do anything is that it will change your life for the good. And that's what Cal Poly did for me. I was a first-generation college student, and the faculty and staff took an interest in my professional, my intellectual development, and they helped me see things about myself that I didn't really know before I came to Cal Poly. They helped me discover that I was a scientist. It was that close relationship with faculty and staff and the learn by doing activities here at Cal Poly, like student research, that helped me get into Harvard University, where I did my PhD, and eventually end up as a professor back at Cal Poly and now the dean. I couldn't have imagined that before coming to Cal Poly, and I'm telling you, that's what Cal Poly and the College of Science and Mathematics can do for you. I want to tell you about a few of our graduates, and if these stories sound like these are the kinds of things that you'd like to do, then Cal Poly is the place for you. So first, I'd like to tell you about Crystal Castillo. Crystal came to Cal Poly to study biology as an undergraduate and ended up getting a master's degree here. She said once, "I always wanted to do something that was unexpected of me, but as a young Hispanic girl, science wasn't pitched to me." As an undergraduate, Crystal met Professor Gita Kularu, who saw in Crystal this young, talented scientist with a hunger to learn, and she encouraged Crystal to continue her studies in graduate school. Well, Crystal went on and she earned one of the most prestigious fellowships in our country, a graduate research fellowship from the National Science Foundation. This close relationship with faculty members is one of the hallmarks of Cal Poly. And if you come here, this could be your story. Let me tell you about another Cal Poly student, Tim Geislinger. He was a biochemistry student. Early in his career, Tim engineered antibodies, which formed the foundation for the first targeted cancer therapeutics. He also identified a series of compounds from plant extracts used today to treat symptoms associated with HIV and AIDS. Most recently, he created and he led the research team that created the Beyond Burger from Beyond Meat. And this burger is the first animal-free meat product to be sold in the meat counter, and it cooks and smells and tastes like meat. Tim said to me, Dean, I always try to use my expertise to do good for the world. And then what Cal Poly taught me was the power of doing. It showed me that if I could do, I could change the world. Tim said, you know, at the beginning of a project, he never knows exactly how he's going to get there, but he does know how to chart a course in uncharted territory. And that's because of Cal Poly's Learn by Doing curriculum and what it taught him and how to approach a problem and develop innovative solutions. This is the type of story that could be your story. Finally, I want to tell you about one more graduate. And this individual's name is Bill Frost. Now, Bill graduated from Cal Poly in the early 1970s. And he built a very successful business. In 2017, he made the largest donation ever received in the entire California State University system. It was $110 million. And he says he did that to give back to the institution that gave him so much. He focused his entire gift on undergraduate research within the College of Science and Mathematics. And this has enabled students that come here to work directly with our faculty. And Bill says, I attribute my success in business directly to undergraduate research that I did at Cal Poly. And that's why he wanted to give back so that all students that come here can have that rich experience. Now, one really exciting new result of his gift is the new William and Linda Frost Center for Research and Innovation. And that is scheduled to open fall 2021. It will house university classrooms and labs for 3 colleges. The College of Science and Mathematics has 30,000 square feet of dedicated research space for undergraduates in our college. So if you want a place where the professors are dedicated to your success, where you'll be engaged in innovative lectures and in labs with hands-on and active learning, and where you can discover new things that no one has ever done before, then Cal Poly's the place for you, and I hope that you will join us. So now I'd like to begin to introduce the departments and programs within the College of Science and Mathematics to give you the opportunity to hear from some of our faculty and then also hear from some of our students. Like I said, following their presentations, we'll have an open session for questions and answers where we'll be answering both in the question and answer box and then directly. Okay, so the first department that I'd like to get to introduce to you is our Biological Sciences Department. And today we are going to be hearing from Professor in Biological Sciences, Crow White. Dr. White.
Thank you, Dean Went, and welcome everyone. Welcome to the Biology Department. Welcome to Cal Poly. My name is Crow White and I'm a professor in the Biological Sciences Department. The slide in front of you shows our majors and our concentrations and our minors. And while you're reading those, I want to tell you some awesome things about our department. We have over 3/4 of our courses have a lab section. That's huge, and that is not common in a lot of universities. That means that our students spend most of their time out in the field or in the lab running experiments, not sitting at desks. We also offer the latest high-tech equipment for our students to study biotechnology and life on a molecular level, including the undergraduate biotechnology lab in the Biological Sciences Department and the new 200,000 square foot Center for Applied Biotechnology, which is stocked with molecular analysis instruments such as the next generation Illumina DNA sequencer. We have real-time mini-ion DNA and RNA sequencers. We have automated electrophoresis machines. We have an Opentrons robot, which helps increase efficiency. And of course, we have all the associated supplies like pipetters, centrifuges, and test tubes. This entire Center for Applied Biotechnology is dedicated to undergraduate students, and biology students are part of that. Those students that are headed to a medical career can take specialized anatomy classes and labs that are usually offered to first-year med school students, but we offer them at Cal Poly to undergraduate students. And that includes learning in a cadaver lab here in the biology department. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, our undergraduate students are exposed to the full spectrum of biology research opportunities in the faculty labs in the biological sciences department, and it supports a diversity of careers ranging from medical sciences, anatomy, physiology, and endocrinology to genetics, cellular and microbiology, virology, epidemiology, super important right now, bioinformatics like big data analysis, which is unprecedented in importance these days, to botany, insect, wildlife, and marine ecology, evolution, and management. We're located in such an amazing area as well. The California Central Coast is the hub of a pristine environment with pristine ocean, coastal marine estuary, like the Morway Estuary, riparian mountain and grassland systems. And these are living laboratories that are ideal for class field trips and scientific research on plant, aquatic, and animal species. And if you come to Cal Poly and you're in the biological sciences department, I guarantee you will be taking field trips out to these places and studying them, and most likely bringing data and bringing samples back to the lab and then doing more sophisticated analyses of the work that you did out in the field. Students gain hands-on experience conducting real government and industry-funded research projects in our faculty labs under the guidance of us faculty like myself. And in keeping with the learn by doing tradition at Cal Poly, our undergraduates present their research, present the findings of their research in a senior project. And many of those senior projects get published in scientific journals, which is a huge boon to your career, to getting you to the next level, to those jobs and to graduate school. Thank you for listening, and we welcome all of you in the biological sciences department.
Okay, now thank you very much, Crow. Now I'd like to introduce to you the department chair of our chemistry and biochemistry department, Seth Bush.
Thank you, Dean. I am super excited you all are here today. As the dad of a graduating high school senior, I know how important this time is for you, and I'm just thrilled that you've joined us today. I'm also super excited to have joined with me today a rock star student from my department, Kamal Mattel. Can you turn your camera on, Kamal?
Hi.
Okay, yay. So Learn by Doing is a cornerstone at Cal Poly, and it's a cornerstone of chemistry and biochemistry. Kamal, can you share your Learn by Doing story? What has this meant to you, and what has it meant to you in our department?
Learn by Doing has really changed my life. I have been doing synthetic organic chemistry in Dr. Derek France's lab for the last 2 years. And being in his research lab has provided me with so many experiences that I couldn't have even imagined coming to Cal Poly. As a first generation student, my family didn't go to college, and so I didn't really know what I was doing here. And so Dr. Derek France really helped me find my path. Being in the research lab, I've gained hundreds of hours of hands-on experience. And from that, I've been able to present at national conferences. I have been able to present posters, and I'm currently in the process of writing a paper that I'm first authoring. I've also been able to work with him to troubleshoot problems and train other people in the lab and really develop myself as a scientist.
Excellent, thank you. Can you advance the slide there? I'm gonna make an argument here. Our graduates are ready day one because undergraduates are our focus. In the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry, our majors go on to top-notch graduate school programs, health professions, they get jobs. Those are those things where people get paid money to do things. And in industry, and time again, we hear about our graduates. They have the hands-on, the teamwork skills to be ready and be able to make a difference wherever they land. So, Kamal, how has our focus on undergraduates played out in your time in our department? What has this meant to you?
think there's two ways that it's been playing out for me. One of them is learn by doing. I think part of what makes learn by doing so effective is that what I'm doing and what I'm learning and what I'm saying on campus actually matters. I have had so many times where I've had opportunities in my leadership roles and in my lab to make change. And because undergraduates are so valued, people actually listen to me and take my opinion, and I've been able to make some real change on this campus, which has been very amazing. Additionally, the faculty within the chemistry department have also completely changed my life. Like I said, when I came to Cal Poly, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, but the professors really took interest in me and all of the other students around me, and their main focus is watching us succeed. So they'll always spend extra time explaining concepts, having extra office hours. I've never felt uncomfortable just walking into a professor's office and asking him a question. My research advisor has also been such an incredible source of support for me. Every time I felt like giving up or that I wasn't good enough, he really encouraged me to see the part of myself that belonged here and that had the opportunity to be something better. So the faculty is absolutely incredible.
Thank you, Kamal. And thank you, Dean, for allowing us to share a little bit about chemistry and biochemistry.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you, Kamal. Thank you, Seth. Next up, I'd like to introduce to you the department chair of our Kinesiology and Public Health Department, Dr. Chris Jankovitz.
Hi, thank you, Dean. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad that you've come to spend some time with us, and I hope that we get to see each other in person at some point very soon. I'd also like to introduce to all of you one of the rock stars from our program, a kinesiology major, Brian Ebisuzaki. Can you say hello there?
Hello, everybody. Hope you all are having a good day.
And as you can see on the slide, there's some information for all of you about the degree programs that our department offers, a BS in kinesiology and a BS in public health. For those of you who might be pursuing other degree programs, but perhaps have an interest in exercise science, or perhaps you're contemplating going on to being a teacher and plan to coach after school sports, or you have an interest in health, well-being, and fitness, we also offer a minor in exercise and sports studies. So while you read that slide for a moment about the concentrations that we offer, Brian, would you like to tell us a little bit about your Learn by Doing story as a kinesiology major?
Absolutely. It's honestly been such a pleasure working with the kinesiology department. I often tell a lot of students coming in that the faculty of the kinesiology department are some of the most approachable teachers that I've had in my entire education. I remember even in my first year, the current professor that I'm working with right now in research, he had come in as a first year professor the same year I had come in my first year. And immediately during the Get to Know You event that we had, it was like we clicked and we started talking about working together. And since my sophomore year, I've been involved in research with, the person I'm speaking of is Dr. Corey Grieber, fantastic professor. I have just finished up a paper with him that just got approved for publication in a journal. So we are super excited about that. It's the first paper I've ever published, and that was a treat. And then I am currently working on another project with him that involves a surfing study. So it's really been a pleasure. That's all outside of class. In classes, the labs are wonderfully designed to really follow this learn by doing approach, where we get to see, do the theories that we talk about in class actually apply? Do they apply to such a small group as a group of 17 to 20 students? And we find oftentimes it does. And if it doesn't, we ask ourselves, does that make sense? Why would it not work in our case? And I love that application. I love how we really apply those concepts in a multitude of areas and in a multitude of scenarios. So it has been an absolute treat. I couldn't have asked for anything better. And I feel really prepared now as I look to grad schools in the future. I'm hoping to become a physical therapist. I'm a fifth year kinesiology major, but I've loved it. I wish I could stay here longer because it's been a blast. I couldn't have asked for any better.
Thank you, Brian. And can you advance to the next slide, please? Thanks. Okay, so for many of you who are contemplating whether you might like to study kinesiology or you might like to study public health, all the things that you've heard about amazing faculty in biology and chemistry and all the faculty in the College of Science and Math, that holds true in kinesiology and public health as well. We are very student-centered. We focus on undergraduates. Our faculty members are amongst the best of teacher scholars and really enjoy involving students in their work. In one way that sometimes we're a little bit different from some of the other departments in science and math is that we deal with a lot of human subjects in our research. So the images that you're seeing are, actually we're measuring human performance, or we're looking at disease parameters, and we're looking at different ways to improve health outcomes. One of the things that makes Cal Poly different from perhaps some of the other institutions that you might be applying to, for example, no other University of California, no UCs offer an undergraduate degree in kinesiology. So if you want to study kinesiology, pick Cal Poly, because we have a fantastic kinesiology program, and you're going to be a kinesiology major day one when you get here. The BS in Public Health is a newer degree program. We're going to graduate the first cohort this year in June, and we're very excited about that. But also, if you're looking at some of the UCs, there's only one UC that has an undergraduate degree in public health, and you can't even apply to it until your second year. So if you know you want to study public health, you will be a public health major day one at Cal Poly, and you will have opportunities to work with underserved communities, work on programs and projects and services that improve health outcomes, learn a little bit about being a disease detective, as many of our students are now going through training to be contact tracers. So there are lots of opportunities in public health, and our mission is to provide you with a lot of opportunities for different career paths, whether it be ready for a career with a bachelor's degree on graduation, or as a springboard to a variety of different graduate programs, or in the allied health professions or medicine. So again, we're really excited that you're contemplating Cal Poly. I'm a Cal Poly alum. It has opened so many doors for me. I'm also a Cal Poly parent. Our son graduated from Cal Poly, and he's in vet school right now, and he's doing very well. So Cal Poly's been a great fit for us. It's opened a lot of doors for us, and it'll open a lot of doors for you too. So thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much, Brian. Great to hear from the both of you. Next, I would like to introduce the chair of our Liberal Studies department, and that is Lola Berber Jimenez.
Thank you, Dean. Buenas tardes. I'm super excited you're here. And as Dean mentioned, I'm Lola Berber Jimenez, and I'm the director of the Liberal Studies major that is an undergraduate teacher preparation program at Cal Poly. I am here with two outstanding liberal studies majors that will tell us a little bit about us. Amanda Scott and Neil Slavik. Amanda.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy you could be here. My name is Amanda. I'm a fourth-year liberal studies major with a concentration in biology. I'm also a resident advisor on campus and involved in the major's professional club, Student California Teachers Association. So liberal studies is a great major. It incorporates teaching and learning multiple subjects that you can use in your future classrooms and careers. The main motto of Cal Poly is learn by doing. And in our major, that looks like experiencing the field experience courses. So going out into elementary schools around San Luis Obispo County and being hands-on with students, which might look a little different right now due to the coronavirus, but you still have amazing learning opportunities. Our department offers a wide range of concentrations math, science, history, human development, and many more. We have great opportunities for study abroad. I went to Ireland about 2 summers ago, and it was one of the best experiences I could have asked for. So if you are able, I highly recommend it. And through this major, we are able to complete many of the prerequisites for Cal Poly's multiple subject credential program, which I'm currently in the process of applying to. So next slide.
And I'll introduce myself really quick. Hi, everybody. I'm Neil. I'm a second-year liberal studies major with a science concentration and a minor in art history. So I'm kind of going to reiterate some of the things Amanda said already, but one of the biggest things is especially for the liberal studies major, is from your first year on campus, you're out in the classroom working with kids of all ages from kindergarten to 5th grade. You're there at our local elementary schools working with the teachers, trying to create lessons plans and learn how the students learn and learn how to teach them. So it's a really great learn by doing experience to have. And on top of that, our faculty are all really close to the students. It's a common theme throughout Cal Poly, throughout the College of Math and Science, but the faculty are here to basically help us with whatever we want. So they're always there. They're always willing to give us any help we want with research or anything like that. Furthermore, most of the classes that we have at Cal Poly, some of them you can see on there. There's children's lit and storytelling. There's some others around there, but they're all hands-on and collaborative. So almost all of our classes, it's not like sitting at a desk taking tests, or like sitting in a big lecture hall watching a professor along with 300 other students lecturing. But instead, it's working in groups and working with your other fellow LS majors to try and figure out like the best way to teach students, or figure out children's lit and storytelling and all these different subjects, science, math, English, everything. So it's all about really learning together with all your other fellow students.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Neil. And I hope that you consider Cal Poly, and I hope that you consider teaching. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lola. Thank you, Amanda and Neil. It was very informative to hear from you about our liberal studies program. And as you can see, we have quite a diversity of majors in our college. And what that means is that, you get to interact with students that are studying very different things across our college. And it makes for an interesting 4 years here. Next, I'd like to introduce the chair of our mathematics department, Dr. Ben Rickert.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, as everyone else has said. What can I say? We love math at Cal Poly in the math department, partly because we love studying the language that makes science possible, but also because we think math is a great major in which to develop the suppleness of mind that you need to be successful in today's society. Now, we have a few ways to get through the math major, which we can talk about later if you like, but real quick, you can focus on applied math, pure math, and we also have a math teaching concentration, which is a CSET certified program, which can help people get their teaching credential in California. We also offer a master's degree with a brand new applied math specialization, as well as the usual pure math specialization, and a 4+1 BS-MS blended program, which is really popular in our department, in which our students finish their degree with their bachelor's and their master's at the same time in about 5 years. Next slide, please. So one thing people always ask us is, why would I want to study math? I don't want to teach. And it turns out that most of our majors don't teach. I just pulled this list of recent companies that have hired our majors off a flyer we made a year or two ago. And you can see that math majors are working all over the place. In fact, when I looked at LinkedIn, not on this list, just to make sure I had the list more or less right, a lot of data scientists coming up in the last 2 or 3 years. So we think of math as a very good pre-anything major on campus because, as I said, it develops us as thinkers and problem solvers. It is true that some of our graduates also teach. Our graduates are very successful teaching in high school, and the teaching concentration is a good way to get your teaching credential. Those who graduate from our master's program do a great job getting careers teaching in community colleges. And we also send math majors to very prestigious graduate schools. I've got a list of some of our recent graduate schools there. And those folks go on to work in industry, teach in community colleges, and teach in college as well. So we love math, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about it when we get to the question and answer time later.
Okay, thank you very much, Ben. Next, I'd like to introduce the chair of our physics department, Dr. Carl Saunders.
Hi, everybody. It's really great to be here with you all together. I'm looking forward to being here in person sometime soon. Behind me, you can see the Baker Center, which is where our physics department is housed. And we have a lot of exciting research and teaching going on right there. And like I said, it'll be great to all be there together in person. I couldn't help but following up on Dr. Rickart's comments about math making science possible. I would argue that physics is the science that makes math interesting, but that's just a little bit of fun between me and Ben. So like I said, it's really great to be here with you all. I'm actually going to have our students tell you about our department. I think their perspective is really important, and I'm happy to turn it over to those two students, Savannah and Andrew. Savannah and Andrew, if you could turn on your cameras and be ready to go, that would be great. However, I also want to just let you all know that if you have any questions about the physics department, please feel free to reach out to me, email me. You can look me up easily online. I'm happy to respond to you over email. I'm also happy to set up a meeting with you and chat over Zoom sometime. Also, just wanted to touch on one thing that seems to be a fairly common question amongst folks interested in our physics department, which is to what degree do we do astronomy and astrophysics? We do loads of it. We have about a half dozen astronomy and astrophysics professors. We offer an astronomy minor. We have a observatory on campus, and we have access to other observatories remotely. So any of you interested in astronomy and astrophysics, which I think everyone should be, it's just amazing stuff. Yes, we have a very vigorous astronomy and astrophysics program within our department. And in terms of an actual qualification, one can get a minor. Okay, so I'd love to turn it over now to Savannah and Andrew, who can tell you about our department from a student perspective. Over to you guys.
Thank you, Dr. Saunders. My name is Andrew. I'm a third-year physics major.
And I'm Savannah. I'm a fourth-year physics major.
So one of the most pivotal aspects of the department is it is undergraduate exclusive. So you interact directly with professors in classes taught only by professors. So this allows you to well, actually, we'll get into a moment. But in order to cater to the large number of engineers requiring the Intro Physics series, there are a sizable number of instructors and professors with an equally encompassing variety of research interests. And I was about to say, this allows students to almost certainly find a research team that fits their interests. So not only do all these things culminate in a small class sizes of about 40 students and even smaller lab sizes of about 8 students, but you do interact directly with professors constantly without that intimidation factor that you might find at some large institutions. So for example, I had the same professor for an entire year, 3 courses in a row, and this is truly a unique experience.
Yeah, and as Andrew said, we only have about 8 to 10 students in our lab classes, which is really great because you get one-on-one time with the professor, as well as one-on-one time with the equipment. One of our most popular lab classes is our quant lab, because you get to work with amazing instruments like a mass spectrometer, and you learn how to write professional lab reports. These labs are also great opportunities for if you want to be a lab assistant and you want to become a teacher. I was a lab assistant for our electronics lab. And another great thing about the physics department is because it's so small, we're such a tight-knit community. There's only about 40 to 50 every year. And one of the great ways we try to promote our community is through our clubs. I'm the president of the Women in Physics, and Andrew's the president of our Sigma Pi Sigma club. And we also have minorities in physics, as well as society's physics students. And we try to hold events that are social, as well as professional development events. One of my favorites was attending the annual APS Women in Physics conference. So that was really a great opportunity to go to.
Next slide, please. Thank you. So a unique aspect of the undergraduate exclusive department, as we've mentioned before, is the ability to become active in physics research. And you can actually do this as early as you like. I myself joined the end of my first year and employed a more buffet style approach, where I performed experimental physics research in thermoelectric and thermomagnetic materials for a whole year. And then I transitioned to theoretical research in quantum gravity the following year. And the whole time I was interacting directly with professors.
And as Andrew said, there's multiple approaches. I kind of took a deep dive approach where after my freshman year, I joined in the summer studying carbon nanotube field effect transistors with a professor, and I've stayed studying carbon nanotubes the past 3 years. This has been really great because not only have I been able to study a specific project for so long, but I've also been able to present my research at conferences. One of the pictures you see here is me and my research group presenting at the APS Far West conference last year, and I have another conference coming up next month. So there's many opportunities. One, to get really close with your research professor, work with great equipment. I learned how to use an atomic force microscope, as well as go to professional conferences, and just many more opportunities.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew and Savannah. That was a really great overview of our department, and I'm so glad that you've had such positive experiences there. And I really liked how they sort of distinguish between the sort of the as I call it, a buffet approach to research, where you can really work on so many topics, as you see listed here on the left. And you can work on them 3 years in a row and get a diverse sort of exposure to the different amazing physics we have. And as Savannah said, you can also do a deep dive and really get into a topic very deeply. And many of our students who do so are ultimately ones who are able to present at professional conferences, some even international conferences, and also publish on this stuff. So yeah, thank you both. I really, I thought you did a great job sort of surveying our department. And like I said, everyone, great to be with you. Please get in touch with me if you have any questions, and I hope to get to see you sometime soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew, Savannah, and Carl. So we're turning now to our final department today. We're going to be hearing from the chair of the statistics department, Dr. Andrew Schaffner. And Andrew, take it away.
All right, thank you, Dean. Welcome, everybody. We're pleased to have you here to learn as much as you can about all of our various programs in College of Science and Math. I'm pleased to be the person to represent the statistics department from the faculty's perspective. And with me today, I have AJ Patel, who is going to give you a little bit of the student perspective. As you're probably aware, statistics right now is an amazingly hot topic in the world, from all the polling that's going on and clinical trials and big data, data science. This is a really exciting area for us to be working in. As a department, we serve the entire campus. Almost all students, similar to the math department, have to take a course from our department. So we have a lot of faculty. And by having a lot of faculty, that means that for students who take our major, which is a much smaller number, you have a lot of opportunity to contact faculty. We have a very wonderful student-faculty ratio. And I'm sure AJ will tell you a little bit more about that. AJ, if you want to turn your camera on, I'd love to have you tell folks a little bit about what Learn by Doing looks like for you in our department. And there's a picture of AJ doing some actual statistical work for the Cal Poly volleyball program.
Hi, Dr. Schaffner, thank you, and hello to everyone out there. So I'm AJ, I'm a 4th year statistics major and data science minor, and my Learn by Doing experience primarily is working with the women's NCAA volleyball team. I go to matches, I travel with the team, and go to practice every day. And what I do with them is I go to practice and I sit with the computer and I collect data on every touch that's happening in a practice, from the serve to the pass to the set to the hit. And I then later use that data to help our coaches decide maybe which player should be starting this week. Say player A has been doing better than player B. Maybe we might want to insert player A into the lineup. We also have the ability to scout our opponents. And so I look at that data and maybe try and do things like predict which way or like which direction a serve will go, or under certain conditions of the game, if it's like a close match, who is the opponent going to try and give the ball to the most. All these things help keep our program a top 25 program in the nation. So I like to think that what I do helps me pursue a career as like a data analyst in the future. It's always been a goal for me to work in sports. And so being able to do this here as an undergraduate has been a one-of-a-kind opportunity for me. Now, if you're not like me and you're not really interested in sports, there are plenty of other opportunities that you have as a statistics major. You can do cross research with faculty side by side. This past summer, I worked with a professor and we were investigating which type of textbook has the best educational effects on students taking intro-level stats courses across the nation. At the moment, we're currently trying to fit the data and really trying to hone in on our results. So hopefully soon we'll actually be able to publish results and spread the word about what our findings. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a data science minor. If you're not into data science or computer science, the department does offer other minors, such as like actuarial, if you're interested in insurance and trying to predict like likelihoods and things of that matter. Or if you're more interested in biology and chemistry, we have our newly added bioinformatics minor. So what's nice about all of our minors as a statistics major is that they're all intertwined with other departments. So if you have specific interests, it's very easy to get into these minors and like cross them together and have more of like a blended program for yourself. We go on to the next slide, please. And so one thing for me that I'm super happy about as a statistics major is our broad curriculum. Our curriculum sets up students for so much success after Cal Poly. So for myself, I intend on going to grad school. I am like many of you and going through an application process. I do have like some of the top schools set in mind for myself, and I want to continue working this volleyball avenue. For other students, they pursue careers and go straight into the work industry. We have students that work at Google, Facebook, they work in sports, they work for Disney. I really feel that our curriculum is broad, where you learn so much, as well as at the same time, you get like an experience, you put your hand in all the cookie jars. So it's just a really amazing department, and we have great faculty like Dr. Schaffner was mentioning that have the ability to teach, and you get to connect with on a personal level and just really become like an all-rounded student.
Thanks, AJ. And I want to encourage everybody, if you have any questions about the statistics department, to please, you can go ahead and look me up on the Cal Poly website or just statistics.calpoly.edu. I'm here to answer your questions and help you with whatever you need. Thank you.
Thank you very much, AJ. Thank you, Andrew. So now we're going to turn to our question and answers, and we've been answering them with within the question and answer dialog box. But there's a few here that we want to bring out and answer directly. A question that we got was, compared to other institutions, how advantageous is the Learn by Doing program for recently graduated seniors? I'm going to go ahead and take that one. And I think that if you speak to any current students or recent graduates from Cal Poly, what you're going to hear is, wow, I got this incredible hands-on education, and I was so prepared to move into either into a job or into graduate school. And it's interesting, you know, you don't really see how well prepared you are until you get out, and then you start comparing students and people who've come from other places. So we hear that all the time from employers and from other graduate schools, that our students are really ready day one, and they hit the ground running because they've received such an excellent hands-on education. I'm going to read just a few statistics here for you. So 93% of our graduates are employed or in graduate school within very shortly after they graduate. In fact, 79% of graduates secure employment before they graduate. Another 13% on top of that 79% a secure employment within 3 months, and the final 8% within 4 to 9 months. So we have within the first year, very high percentages of our students that are employed, and I think that that speaks directly to that. About 86% of the graduates found jobs right here in California. So I think that you will find that your education gets you very well prepared, and that our students move either into graduate school or into the workforce at really high rates. Okay, so I have another question here that I would like to address, and that's about change of major. Several people have asked, how hard is it to change major? And so I'm going to call on one of our associate deans to answer this question, Dr. Camille O'Brien, who works very closely with our advising group and our Student Success Center, and she is very focused on student success. So Camille, can you take that question for us?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Dean. And good afternoon and good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this virtual fall preview for the College of Science and Mathematics. I do work very closely with students and advisors across the university who are interested in changing majors. So it is possible to change your major within your college or across colleges. The change of major policy is pretty clear and straightforward. If you were to go to advising.calpoly.edu and you could click on the change your major box, you can learn more details about it. But the most important advice I could offer you all as prospective students, and once you're admitted, if you're admitted to Cal Poly, which would be awesome, and you join us, is to meet with an advisor and talk to the faculty early on. And you can't change your major in your first quarter at Cal Poly, that's part of the policy, but it's very important to talk with people and get a good understanding about what the curriculums involve and what the reasons are for why you want to change your major. Also, some people have asked about double majoring, and people do double major from within the college as well as between colleges. And some majors are more easy to do that than others. It really just depends on the student and what their current major is and what major they want to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Camille. So, I think it is important to know that not only do our faculty work across disciplines, that is, there are collaborations among faculty in different areas, either across departments or even across colleges, like with the College of Engineering or the College of Food and Environmental Sciences. But our students get to do that as well. And so I think it's important to know that your learn by doing will happen across majors and sometimes even across colleges. And so this really does give our students a lot of experience that they can use, and it sort of situates them and creates a niche for them, after graduation to be really competitive for jobs and for graduate school. So here's a question here that is about someone who has an interest in genetics, and if they have an interest in genetics, would I be well served to be in the biotechnology concentration? Crow, can you take that question for us?
I apologize, Dean. I was typing an answer to another question. So can you please repeat that, please?
I know multitasking, as much as we'd like to think we can do it, we literally cannot do it. You just do two things less effectively. So thank you for taking a break from typing that that answer. But so is it advisable to be in the biotechnology concentration or minor if you're interested in genetics?
Yes, I would say so. I'd say that is definitely something you could do. We also have a new bioinformatics minor, which is a really interesting way, a really effective way to combine a major, say with biology, with the ability to understand all the big data that is streaming out of genetics research.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So, I hope that you have been well informed here, that that we've piqued your interest, and that you really have a sense of the College of Science and Mathematics. And what I want to close before we hand it back to Melissa here for a short video is really just to say that the faculty here are so deeply interested in the success of our students. And students are the core of everything that we do. And so, if you're thinking about going to a place where you're really embedded into a collaborative community where faculty and students are partners in discovery, and that discovery is happening in our classrooms, and in our teaching labs. That discovery is happening in our research labs. This is the kind of place that you want to be, where you really have that close relationship with faculty. And there was a question in the chat that was about how much research opportunity is there for students at Cal Poly compared to other institutions. And one of the things I'll say is that every summer we have hundreds, literally hundreds, probably between 400 and 500 students that stay on campus and do independent research with faculty. Part of that's supported through our Frost endowment that I mentioned. And part of that is also from the grantsmanship of our faculty, and they procure resources to bring and engage students. So if you want to be at a place where we're dedicated to your success, where you're going to be engaged in those innovative lectures and labs with hands-on and active learning, and where you get to discover new things, then Cal Poly is the place for you. I really appreciate all the folks that have been on the panelists today, and I'm going to turn it back over to Melissa now to close the show. Thank you very much for being here. We really hope to see you, and please do reach out to us.
All right, well, thanks once again to all of our panelists, and thank you everyone from admissions and the College of Science and Mathematics for helping out on the back end with getting through all of those question and answers. Just to wrap things up for today, we have a closing message from our Assistant Vice Provost of Admissions and Enrollment Development. Thank you all again for attending, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Hi, I'm Terrence Harris, and I'm our Assistant Vice Provost for Admissions and Enrollment Development. I want to thank you for taking time to get to know more about Cal Poly. This place has great significance to me. I received both my undergraduate and graduate degrees here. I met my wife here, and my parents are alumni. I am proud to be a part of the Mustang family, and I'm excited about the prospect of you joining us here. I want you to know that as a community, we are determined to cultivate an environment that is welcoming to everyone. Every individual brings with them their own unique qualities and values that add to the richness of our campus. Regardless of who you are, where you're from, or what your background is, we want you to know that you have a place here. So, what's next? Well, I'm standing here in front of the admissions office, where our team would typically be located, ready to help guide you through the application and admissions process. We're all working virtually right now, but our services remain available. Our team is eager to help you out, so we hope you apply. The application opened on October 1st, so visit Cal State Apply to start your application today. We want you to know that we are here to help you. Visit our admissions website to learn more information about the application process or to learn about our upcoming webinar series. And don't forget to check us out on social media. I know that the decision about your educational future is a huge decision, but I also want you to know that you've come to the right place. So, I wish you and your family the best of luck as you continue through the rest of this academic year. Go Mustangs!